So I want to do this as like a small little. I'm gonna turn off TTS for this chat, but I wanted to talk about like my 48-hour opinion on Slay the Spire 2, but also what the community response seems to be, at least from what I see on my side of the internet. 48 hours of Slay the Spire 2. This game is fucking peak. It's absolutely unbelievably good. It's everything that we wanted in the game and more. Like holy fucking shit, how well everything works together, how it already feels like it's completely flushed together, how it just the world feels lived in, how the lore is just fucking goated. It's so goddamn good. There's obviously some things that are like minor that just bother me, like why do we not have sounds for like when the defect gains focus? That's like the focus sound, you know, things like that. That is like, even if you want to change the sound later on, like give us the old sound, give us the placeholder. You know, I don't want just like when I use Sunder to have the same sound as when I use a strike card. Like I like the big slam. And it's just those like tiny little things that I found like slowly but surely. And then also, I really don't like when I go and find one of the lore epochs or however you say them. And it just says, this is not been fleshed out yet. We'll update this later. I don't mind the placeholder art per se, as long as I still get the lore. But when it literally just says, not done yet. Huh? Like, dude, just don't give it to me yet. And then once you have it, I'll open up the game and it just auto unlocks. You know, and then I go to the thing and I go and I check it, you know, like I don't want something that literally is nothing. And so I think that's like the early access blights. But other than that, man, like the gameplay itself feels insane. The music is insane. The enemy design is insane. Everybody feels super unique. Everybody feels like I just have to learn a new set of enemies. I love the new boss rewards. Absolutely love the new boss rewards. I hope that there's some way that like maybe you can not necessarily manipulate what boss reward you're gonna get, but maybe like we learning like what boss you get means you get a certain boss reward based on like what we have yet to figure that out. But maybe the ancients are better. Don't judge the way that I say ancients is the way that I say ancients. Fuck you. But like they're so fucking good, and I really like that, and I like getting like a fun choice of boons. But maybe there's just like a little bit more variety to it of some way that I can manipulate it or prepare for what I'm going to get. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But maybe this is stuff that we need to figure out. Maybe this is stuff that we unlock down the future. I don't fucking know. Either way, game is unbelievably peak. I'm absolutely addicted to it. Played co-op for the first time last night, and the way that co-op functions, it can be a little overwhelming, honestly, as a player to make sure that my chat was having fun the entire time, but talking to them afterwards, and here's their input right now live. They said it was unbelievably peak and really easy to follow what was going on of 4 people playing a bunch of cards because they overlay which cards are being played at which time like really, really well. And it kind of is like, you don't just play a card, you're like putting it into the queue so you can see, oh, they're about to play Bash, so now I should now queue up my attack. Like it actually like works really, really well. And like the first co-op run that we played, we all played different characters, and so we were all kind of going for our own late game fantasy of our own character, which was kind of cool and fun. But when we all played the Ironclad, the next run was actually really interesting because Ots went for like this. So we originally were like, okay, let's all try to stack up vulnerable, take Molten Fist to double the enemy's vulnerable, and then all have the card Bully that scales off of the enemy's vulnerable, and for 0 mana, I'll deal like 400 damage. That's what we started out at the run as. Like, that's what we wanted to try to do. And it worked out for a little bit until everybody started veering off into their own specialties of the Ironclad, where Ots went for this strength game fantasy where we stack up a bunch of vulnerable on the enemy, and then you point at the enemy and say, based on how much vulnerable he has, I get permanent strength. And he's like, I now have 70 strength. Boom. And then Joe Cat was being Joe Cat and being a femboy. And then I was going for this like ultimate tank build so that I was using these new co-op cards where it was saying I'll take double damage from the guy's attacks, but then my friends take 50% damage. So it like actually really works out. And then there's these other cards where it's like, I can literally make the damage that it says on your screen say 0. And then I'll take all of your damage as well. Or I can take damage to give you my block, to duplicate my block and give it to you. There's so many cool mechanics like that. And like when I was playing the defect, I could give somebody else a plasma orb. It was just like so many things like that that just seemed well thought out, that we're not just playing our own runs next to each other, that we're actually feel like we are slaying the Spire together. And then And then Multi-Brad played an Infinite and just won the last boss fight on turn 1 without playing a singular thing. He just lifted up his hands and it ended the game. But that's like the fucking awesome part of it. Is like it was like just really fucking cool and really fucking peak, and everything was just amazing. And so like the co-op just feels like it wasn't just an afterthought. It truly feels like, and this is my conspiracy theory, is that they realized that they wanted to add co-op to have more to the game when it released. And that's why they delayed the game. They didn't just want to ship poo-poo multiplayer and then update it later. They wanted to ship with a goated multiplayer to make it so that we're addicted to the game, but then also we can spread the virus to other people. Because what is doing heroin good for if you're not doing heroin with your friends? So now we can get our friends addicted to drugs. But as for the common things that I've seen from the community, and now I'm somebody that has 4,000 or 5,000 hours in Slay the Spire 1. There is a Reddit post out there that does say that I'm the greatest Slay the Spire player of all time. So take that for what it is. Everybody agrees on that. Again, look at the chat, that I am the #1 Slay the Spire player that ever existed. A lot of people are saying that this game is too similar to Slay the Spire 1. Those people are stupid and dumb. They've never played a sequel to a game ever before in their entire life. There's literally 0 enemies that are ported over 1-to-1 from the first game. Enemies that are just slightly even similar, like the Cultist, are completely reworked and changed that are so unique. It's just that you start out with strikes and defends and still have shivs that people are like, what the hell? It's like, yeah, you played Halo 2 and it still had the needler just like Halo 1. Yeah, the things get ported. Anyways, that doesn't matter. I don't care about those Twitter opinions. I want to talk to like what my community has been saying, which is a number of things. First thing that they've been saying is, holy fucking shit, this game is so fucking awesome. Thank you for streaming this game. We're going to watch you for hours and hours and hours. And I went from being about a 500 to a 700 average concurrent viewer, Andy, between 2 platforms to on the day of release, averaging like around 10,000 viewers and peaking at 16,000 viewers. And yesterday doing like about 50% of that. And hopefully that doesn't wear off. Who knows, though? Realistically, I'll probably go back to being the 500 viewer Andy, but maybe I'll be able to stay and cement myself at the top of the Slay the Spire section for years and years to come. The second thing is that people are saying that the game is harder than the previous one. And the third thing is that energy is harder to come by. And I think those two kind of go together, which is why I want to talk about them. I want to talk about this. And I think what it is as you become a Slay the Spire veteran, right? As you become a Slay the Spire GOAT, once you get into like the thousands and thousands of hours, I found myself taking energy relics more often in Slay the Spire 1. And I found myself relying more on Pandora's Box and Astrolabe and Runic Pyramid and Snecko Eye and finding my energy elsewhere, because there is a lot of alternative energy in the game. There's a lot of manipulation that you can do in the game, and you got to learn how to exploit it. And I feel like the newer players, or those that watch a Moz, just click on the energy relic at the end of every single boss fight in Slay the Spire 1. And they just say, by the end of the game, I want to have 4 to 5 energy every single turn without thinking. And so when they come into Slay the Spire 2, and there's no energy relic at the end of every act, and there's maybe like a temporary energy relic, that temporary energy relic is there so that you can spend that act finding the alternative energy by the end of that act, so that you no longer need to be reliant on that energy relic, and then you can go into Act 3 and take a better boon that's going to help you beat the boss and not hope to find another temporary energy relic, right? And so I feel like the people that are struggling with Slay the Spire 2 and saying that it's harder than Slay the Spire 1, that you're not finding energy as much, I think you just need to change your mindset. I think you need to stop trying to play Slay the Spire 2 like it's Slay the Spire 1. That's what I think. Is that, because I started that too. I tried to play Slay the Spire 2 like I played Slay the Spire 1. And guess what? I lost on the fucking tutorial run before most of you did. And all of you fucking laughed at me. But I haven't really lost a run since. I've lost like the occasional run that I've like purposely, I took the event that upgrades all of your cards but gives you 1 max HP. And then I died because Fairy in the Bottle, when you die at 1 max HP, doesn't revive you in this game, whereas it did revive you in Slay the Spire 1. And so, again, it was me relying on Slay the Spire 1. And maybe that's a bug, or maybe that's intended because rounding math. But either way, I've noticed that when I just focus on what's in front of me and I try to play around what's in front of me, that I'm playing a lot better and that I'm not struggling nearly as much. And I think that's why a lot of people are struggling on the newer characters, because they haven't been playing them for a while. And so it's harder for them to come into a new character and play this new fantasy. But for me, it's fucking, this is a goddamn Tuesday, because what did I do for my entire last 3 years? I played every good, bad, and indifferent modded character under the sun, man. I know how to come into a new character and pull out all of its strengths and weaknesses rather quickly. You know, like that's genuinely my specialty. I'll probably struggle as we start climbing Ascensions, and I'll be watching Jorbs and Baylor Lord and Zeknar like the rest of us. But for now, you're in my house. You're in my house right now. Ascension 0, new characters. That's the frostprime territory, baby. Bang! Those are kind of my thoughts on Slay the Spire 2 after 48 hours, and also after like community feedback. Anything else that I missed, chat? Anything else that you think that I missed? Frequency of updates and hotfixes? It's just early access, man. People just be doing that. Button placement? Nah, again, that's just like little quality of life things that hopefully get fixed. Or you just have to learn like to press E on your keyboard, because if you press E, it also confirms through the button placement. So you just press E on your keyboard instead of having to need a button in the middle. So you just kind of learn different things.
He's an arsonist on a noble quest to escape the wrath of the IRS. He's got conflicting positions in the endless fight for queer folks and